we went through some stuff, and I sought counseling for it. She didn't, and so she never really understood my side of some of my actions. I stopped by the grocery store to get some money to go to the club. And as I told her, I was going to hand out Bibles. You may not accept my forgiveness. You may not care that I've forgiven you. It's for me. It makes me feel better. And so
just letting it go.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Hey friends, this is Betsy with the Wildly Seen, Totally Loved podcast. On this show, we talk to real people about what God is doing in the hard places of their life. We know these testimonies are going to encourage your faith, so we hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Big shout out to Top Hand RV Park for being Season 4 sponsor of Wildly Seen, Totally Loved. Hey friends, Christina here. Betsy and I want to thank you for joining us on this journey of the Wildly Seen, Totally Loved podcast. Before we get started today, we just wanted to remind everyone that this ministry is supported by listeners like you. Would you be interested in partnering with us today? Wildly Seen, Totally Loved is offering sponsorship packages that will promote your business on our show and are also accepting donations. If you would like more information on sponsorships, please send us an email to wstlpod@gmail.com. Find our donation link and email address in the show notes below. Thanks again for listening, and we hope you enjoy this conversation just as much as we did.
Welcome back to Wildly Seen, Totally Loved. Today we have guests Scott and Dina Riggins here with us, and they're going to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what they do. Why don't you go first?
Okay. Well, I'm Scott, obviously. I am a retired firefighter from here in Abilene. I worked for the city of Abilene for a month shy of 34 years.
Wow.
I grew up in Hawley, Texas, and that's kind of me. We have one son who is 28, and he is married to a young lady that he met while he was in college, and they dated, actually high school, and dated while they were in high school, and then got married, and got married during COVID, and so,
Awesome.
That's kind of me.
I'm Dina, and I work at the Education Service Center here. I taught for 20 years at Abilene High, then was a counselor there for 10 years. Now I'm a mental health consultant. And we've been married for 34 years.
In a row.
That's amazing.
Listen,
It's important.
It is. It
Yes.
is.
And so that's me.
Awesome. So how did you guys meet?
Okay, I'm going to let him start.
I
but
understand.
he tends to embellish this story.
I understand.
And so I'll hop in.
Okay.
So I had been at the Western Heritage Classic and was going to go to the dance. It rained it out, so I stopped by the grocery store to get some money to go to the club. And as I told her, I was going to hand out Bibles, and so that's what hooked her.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
That was
So,
it.
Anyway, a Saturday night, I'm dressed in, boots, jeans, hat, the whole 9 yards.
He did look good. I will say.
She'll give him that.
He looked good.
And she's standing in line in a T-shirt and shorts, no makeup.
No makeup.
Her hair was, a Saturday
this is
night.
at
so
the grocery store.
at
This
the
is at the
grocery
grocery store
Okay,
in line.
okay.
Yeah.
And so I saw that in her little cart or basket that single person food. So I thought, she's not buying for a
Also-
lot of people.
I will say I did notice him. He was not in my line. He was in a line like 2 lines over. And he came and got behind me in line.
Well, it's before self-check, so it was slow.
Yeah.
So,
something like that.
you
need
move
to go
from
the
line to
faster
line.
line.
Exactly. So, yes. So I went over and stood behind her, waiting my turn. And so they asked her, she wrote a check. They asked her age or her birth date. And I said, "Oh, you're young." And she kind of looked at me like, "Who are you? And why would you inject yourself into my life here?" And so anyway, she paid for her stuff. And then it's like she had arthritis. She walked out of that store so slow.
This is where he embellishes. I walked
slow.
out in a normal rate.
And so then I wrote my check and I caught up with her outside. She was fixing to leave. Oh, I said, I get you probably go to ACU too, right? And she again looks at me with disdain and is like, "Yeah."
I really was not interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway, so she gets in her car to leave. I get in my pickup to leave, and I went, she's cute. And so I pull up behind her. So now it's even worse because now I've trapped her.
He was a stalker.
I said, hey, would you like to go get something? You can trust me. I'm a fireman, which is, you probably should never, ever follow up with that. Or open with that either. And so anyway, so we ended up, she said, I won't go anywhere with you, but I'll meet you someplace. And so there was Taco Bell at the time over by the grocery store. And so we went over there and just had something to drink for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Listen,
that is an interesting story.
bring back dating like
I
that.
was going to say,
It really-
because nowadays it would be like, well, first of all, it's a quick swipe debit card, so you
Yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
write the check.
Yes.
And it'd be like, I'm going to go find her on social media.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have to confront her because I'm going
No.
to find her
Right,
on social
right.
media.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
we
cool.
sat and talked for probably 2 hours at Taco Bell.
That's cool.
And I did give him my phone number, and he called me and asked me to go to dinner the next night. And we went to dinner the next night, dinner and movie.
Yeah.
And,
And let's talk about that too. Let's, for all our single listeners, we need to be talking, not texting.
Yes.
Right?
yes, There,
Yeah.
there was
so
no
good.
texting then. Like, you had to call someone and
Yeah.
set up a date, and you had to have conversation.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a different world.
And it's awkward at first, but you have to get through the awkward stage and keep it going. And so
We've talked about that a lot, just
Yeah.
how awkward we buy into that lie of like, oh, well, it's just, I
It's
can't,
just
it's too awkward.
awkward.
I'm
I'm
socially
awkward.
awkward. I'm like, so what? So is everybody.
Yeah.
What was
Yes,
more
yeah.
awkward than meeting someone in line at the grocery store?
yeah.
And his
And then
comments
meeting
to
at Taco
me,
Bell.
I mean, I seriously was like,
yeah, probably not the best
Trust me, I'm a
icebreakers.
firefighter.
Yeah, looking back, that may not have been the best thing.
he actually said, I bet you go to ACU too. And I'm like, what is that
What does that
supposed
mean?
to mean? Is that a put down?
Well,
Or is
we
it
were
supposed to be a
close to
compliment?
ACU,
Yeah, I don't
so-
know.
Did you
mean-
go to ACU?
I did.
I had to
That's
establish
great.
her age.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. It's creative. I like it. Okay. Now let's ask a little fun question. I want you to answer for each other. Okay.
Oh,
no.
So this will be so fun. So where is Scott's favorite place to eat in Abilene?
So fast food wise, I would say Chipotle. We go there a lot.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. And then what would you say Dina's favorite place to eat is?
Oof. Fast food. Well, so she's not really, wow, how do I answer that? She's so multifaceted because she's a picky eater.
Mm.
And so it depends on the day, on
Yeah.
what is her favorite, and it kind of evolves. Plus, she eats out a lot for work, and so she doesn't want to eat the same thing over and over. She likes Chipotle also, Chick-fil-A.
Mhm.
It's always go to because
Yeah.
it's right there close to her work. So, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
The Lord's chicken.
Yes, it is. It is. I think Luke might answer that Chick-fil-A was one of my favorites, but it's only because I have 2 little girls, and sometimes that's the
Right.
only thing we can agree on.
It's
you know?
super
Right.
convenient.
It is.
too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it always is good. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A's right by work, and I go through there for lunch a lot.
I do love their scramble bowls in the morning, like
Yeah.
just protein, quick.
Mhm.
They're good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Okay, so Scott and Dina, let's talk about. Actually, first, I would like to just say, like, how did each of you meet the Lord? Like,
I love
when
that.
when did you come into relationship with the Lord,
Well,
or just get saved, or whatever? Like, what is your background with the Lord?
right. So, grew up in Hawley, First Baptist Church, Hawley. My dad was on building and grounds committee. My mother worked in the nurseries and taught Sunday school, and we were just always in church. And so when I was 12, there had been a revival, and a couple of my buddies had accepted the Lord, and that kind of is what you start getting this really nervous feeling. My heart started beating really fast. I was in the service, and I remember it because a guy named Steve and they were friends of mine, and so they had gone down the night before, and it really, and so that's where it started. I became baptized at the age of 12, and the Lord has always been a part of my life, I don't know that I've always had him close to my heart in my life. And so, obviously things happen where he becomes much closer to you. And so, but that's kind of where I started.
Your background. Yeah.
Mine's very similar. I grew up in Stephenville, very conservative Church of Christ. I mean, our family went to church Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesdays. I mean, without fail.
Yeah.
And I was in 5th grade, and I just remember thinking, whatever it was, like it was time. And it was that just very old school conservative. You went to the front of the church and you professed your faith. And then the next Sunday you went forward and, in front of the church and very quiet, very solemn. Then you were baptized.
Yeah.
And I remember loving that, then having that. But in hindsight, I think I'm not sure I was ready looking back.
Yeah.
Because now looking back at so many things that have happened in my life. But I mean, I'm glad, I had that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look back now, it's like, oh, there's so many instances I've become closer to the Lord, since then and felt that call to be closer. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
So from then to you have your bold moment at the grocery store and y'all get married and have kids or a son and start living life. What is a wilderness season that the Lord has carried you through and seen you through and loved you through?
Do you want to start? I'll start because it kind of starts with me. So I've battled what a lot of men battle, as a late teenager and, my career and just the things out there. And so there were a lot of years that if you're on the fire department, I'll use this as my main example. We have something called rookie pushers, and those are guys that made sure that the rookies learned all their stuff and did all their stuff. And if they didn't, then we were sort of enforcers. We were kind of mean. And so Dina, throughout a lot of my life in my career, has said, "You're not at the fire station. Don't talk to me. Don't treat me like the guys." And so, but in reality, you're around the people you work with more than you are your home life, because we would be there 24 hours at a time. When I'd get off, she'd be going to work. And so I wouldn't see her till she'd get off work and, the few hours after that. And so it was very hard for me to separate my work life and my married life. And so I was mean to her. I will not deny that one bit. I was mean, the things I said, the words I used. I expected certain things. The house needed to be a certain way. Everything had to be a certain way. And so I created an atmosphere that was not conducive to a happy marriage all the time. And so, because of some of my actions, then we went through some stuff, and I sought counseling for it. She didn't, and so she never really understood my side of some of my actions. And so some years went through. We kind of worked things out. Things got okay. I had been to a conference and had met someone from out of town, and we had a little email thing back and forth, and she found out about it, and then it created more problems. And that's all it was, though. It was just simply an email thing, because there was a couple thousand miles distance between. And so continued these things. And so counseling again, and things rocked along well.
We did go to counseling together at that point.
We did, yes.
Yeah.
And so then in 2014, I call it our year from hell. Mm-hmm. The evil one was very prevalent in our household. And so, I'll let Dina go from here.
So we had been married 22 years at this point. And so I'll backtrack a little bit into the lead up to this point. So I am Scott has called it an ostrich. I do not like confrontation. So we've kind of gone through a lot of stuff in our marriage. Now, while all this is going on, we go to church. I mean, we go to church. We're very involved in church. We take our son to church. We want to make sure he's plugged in. Like, we look as if we are walking the walk. But I don't think either one of us, I don't want to speak for you, have like a super close relationship with God. But I am holding on to lots of anger with him through all of this.
Yeah.
I don't like to fight with him a lot about it because he fights hard.
Fight to win.
Yeah.
He fights to win. And I've learned that pretty early on. So I have really lots of unresolved anger with him. And so in 2014, I make extremely bad choices and start a relationship with someone else. And he walks in one evening and finds those texts. And pretty much it all just falls apart. I don't know another way to say it.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a marriage just hitting rock bottom. Yeah. He's devastated. And I don't know what's going to happen then at that point. He just walks out of the house. I don't know, is he going to come back?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. Thank goodness he does come back. And we have to decide, what are we going to do? You know, what's going to happen going forward? Yeah. Luckily, neither one of us want to end our marriage. We don't. You know, we both have a very firm Christian foundation. Thank goodness for our parents who raised us that way. We have a 16-year-old son who's a sophomore in high school, and we do not want to break up our family.
Yeah, it wasn't an option.
It really wasn't. And we
That's
just
good.
decided, you know, we don't want that. We don't know what to do. We're both kind of, I felt completely lost and floundering, and I kind of feel like he felt the same way. So we're not sure what to do. This is a Saturday evening. And so the next morning, we just get up and go to church. And we're like, well, okay, we're going to get up and go to church.
Well, I think it's important. I didn't stay out all night. I went back home,
He did.
climbed back into bed just like every night. And,
There's a lot to be said for that.
I was going to
We
say
talked,
that.
yeah. And so the next morning we go through the motions, and so I'm a confrontational person. I like to confront. And you know, that night there was very little ugly confrontation.
No.
And there was lots of talking and lots of crying. And so I do what I do. I contacted a friend and said, hey, we need help.
Yeah.
And this is a gentleman we go to church with, also somebody that she had worked with. And he said, let me make a phone call. Can y'all meet us at the prayer room at church? Tell us when. And so two of these guys show up, and they take us to the choir room. The prayer room. They anoint our head with oil, and they commence to crying. We commenced to
We're about to start crying.
They
Yeah, that's
commenced
right.
to praying, and those guys prayed over us, and we kind of formulated a game plan of what we were going to do and how we were going to do it, and so we tackled things head on. They recommended a Christian counselor for us. And we made a phone call. He worked us in almost immediately. And so we started confronting it head on. And it was not good.
I'm glad you said that, because it's like you chose but there was work and it was
Oh.
hard,
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
We dug in.
Mm-hmm.
This probably 6 months, it was very rough. There were times, I don't know. I don't even know how to put it into words.
Yeah.
This was, I mean, let's be very clear. This was not an easy time.
Yeah.
Every day, it was pretty much get up, make a choice. We're going to do this. And one or the other of us probably fell apart or both. And there were times that we reached out to one of these two individuals, or I remember one Sunday morning, we called our counselor who also went to church with us, and we were like, this is really bad. And he said, meet me now. And it was Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we met up there, and I remember apologizing to him, and I said, I'm so sorry we pulled you from church. And he just said, where 3 or more are gathered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just had people in our
I was going
court.
to say, what a blessing. to
And
have
I just felt
those
like,
people.
I mean,
Yes,
we
yes.
both feel like God just was like, I'm going to make this happen for you. And just put these things in motion.
Yeah.
And it's only because I think we turned it over. We're out of our league now. We can't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
We
to
couldn't fix
surrender.
it anymore. Like, we were just like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's the first time I ever just said, I can't do anything about this. I can't fix this. I've messed things up so badly. I don't know what to do. And you're going to have to fix this, God,
Yeah.
because I can't. Because I screwed this up so badly. You're the only one who can fix it.
Hey friends, let us tell you a little bit about our Season 4 sponsor and friends at Top Hand RV Park. Top Hand RV proudly lays claim to the quietest RV park in Albany, Texas. Nestled in a quaint residential neighborhood and conveniently located within walking distance to the city park and the swimming pool for littles. Overnight and long-term full-service hookups with military and first responder discounts available. For more information, visit their website at tophandrvpark.com. Thanks again to Top Hand RV Park for sponsoring Wildly Seen Totally Loved this season. Now, back to the show.
Were there ever moments, like, I know it was gut-wrenching and horrible, and I can see that, but were there moments where you had peace with the Lord, like, through the process?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
How
I
did
think
he
so.
sustain each of you in
Yeah.
the process, you know?
I think so.
Well, how did he sustain us? First of all, he protected our son.
I was going to ask about
He
that.
protected our son. And so even just recently, she called him, and we don't know that he really knows any details of anything. And she calls him and said, hey, we may be on this podcast and you may learn some things. And he's like, yeah. He didn't
good.
even bother
I did.
him.
I
It's
said,
like,
Yeah.
Do you want
So-
us to? Do you want to talk about this in advance?
Yeah.
Because this is going to go out.
Yeah.
And would you like us? And he was like, "No, I'll just be surprised." I'm like, if
Yeah.
he knows something, he's gonna let us know now that he knows. And I was like, okay, well, are you sure he wants to do this? Like, we don't want to embarrass you more than we embarrassed you, when you were growing up as your parents. And he was like, he texted back, I'm a grown man. It's fine.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do. Okay.
That's awesome.
And so I might backtrack just a little bit,
Yeah.
going back to Dina and I when we were first married, and so her parents were divorced when she was 14,
Mhm.
and so she said, I'm never getting divorced.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of like, to me, it was like, I can do anything I want to, say anything I want to, and she's going to be there.
Oh.
She's not going to divorce me. And so my lifestyle reflected that a lot, and then my words manifested itself in those ways. And apparently in 2014, she decided that was not the case any longer.
Yeah.
And so when you're confronted with the fact that your actions and your words can cause somebody to do something that's so out of character, you need to make a change.
Yeah.
And
good.
that was my moment that I'm going, you know what? And you can ask a lot of the guys that I used to work with. I'm a different guy now. And I mean, it's not because of this action, it's because the Lord has has had his finger in this whole time. And I mean, I've seen people that I used to go to school with and apologize to them about things that, you know, took place in high school, and I've made phone calls, and so that was kind of what got this whole thing sort of going. And again, you know, when you realize that your actions can cause someone to do something so out of character, then you need to make a change.
I love that you said that.
Much respect for that, for sure. Okay, so let's see. You're in the heat of it. It's horrible. When did what keep going? What's the rest of the process? How did we get to here?
Well, so this is like a TV show. It really is. We started getting anonymous letters in the mail.
I call it hate mail.
Yeah, we one was sent to my work.
One was sent to my work. One was sent to my principal. And this is where, like, I will say, it's almost like we had this common enemy that caused us to band together even closer.
Yeah.
To fight against that, to protect our kid, to protect our family, and God did. He protected us, because this individual just happened to be kind of a well-known member of the community, and so it became bigger than us, and so we really had to come together in a time where we wanted to be angry with one another.
Yeah.
And we couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, and so one of the guys that prayed over us, we asked him to kind of keep an eye out on Dina. And we then told him that we were not going to open any of these letters. We'd just bring them to him, and he could do what he wanted to with them. And
after the first couple, we realized,
so
this is bad.
He took a couple of letters from us, and I don't know if he ever read them or not. Well, I did ask him to read them because I wanted to make sure there was nothing threatening or anything in there. And so he never told us what was in them, but we didn't call the police, so I'm assuming it was okay. But he would throw them away. And so we were fighting a multifaceted fight here. And
that was very wise and self-controlled to say, we're not going to read these anymore.
Yeah.
And that was God, I think.
It just made me mad. So, and again, like I said, I'm a confrontational person. So she was at school. I was off one day, and I went in a convenience store. And, you know, everything is kind of getting its way to get back together. And I don't know, something had triggered in me that morning. And so I'm at the convenience store, and I get whatever and I just walk outside. I didn't pay for it. And I went, oh my. And so I went back inside, and I said, y'all, I just got this. I just walked out with it and didn't pay. I said, I apologize. If you need to call the police, do whatever you need to do.
Oh my goodness.
And they said, no, just pay for it. It's okay. I said, I'm sorry. My mind just wasn't here. And so I left there and went straight to where he worked. And called him, and I said, I'm on my way. He said, what for? I said, we're going to work this out. And so I went to where he worked and walked in his office. He shut the door, and I said, my first inclination is to crawl over that desk and whip your ass. Sorry for saying that.
You're good. Yeah.
And he said, well, come on. I said, I'm not going to do it. I said, you're not worth me losing my job over. I said, and I'm here to forgive you.
Whoa.
And he said, I don't know if that means anything to me. I said, that's all right. And so he had a few more words, and I left. And so that's how things have ended. And there's been a couple of times I've come face to face with him in town, and, you know, I nod my head and just go right on about my business. And, you know, just because I forgave him doesn't mean I have to be friends with him.
Right.
So,
well, and so there was closure there, I think, in that. And that began like the closure process. But then also, how did you rebuild from there? Like, what did that do? How did your marriage move forward from there?
Yeah.
I think that once we started having closure, that we were able just to kind of start rebuilding.
Yeah.
Once we found forgiveness, I think it was about finding forgiveness with one another.
Yeah.
And that was slow.
Yeah.
That wasn't a fast process.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, we're 10 years out of it and we're still working on that part
Yeah.
of it. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Well, the enemy is good at what he does,
The
and I'm
enemy
sure,
is
I'm
so
sure he
good at
brings
what
up
he
lies all the
does.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Counseling, I mean, I just cannot recommend. We could not have done it on our own. We absolutely could not have worked through that.
Yeah.
Just he and I. Counseling was huge. And it was a Christian counselor
Mhm.
who brought up Bible verses.
Yeah.
It wasn't just working out like our own marriage stuff. Like he kind of had these issues. I had like all this guilt and this shame
Mhm.
that I was carrying around. Like there was like a month I would barely walk out of the house. I mean, that was this huge thing I was dealing with.
Yeah.
So there was the stuff between us. There was the stuff that led up, like stuff from my past, stuff from his past, the stuff between us,
Yeah.
the stuff I was dealing with now. I mean, there was so much stuff. And then we were like, and then we go to reengage.
Yeah.
Reengage was huge for us because I feel like that taught us about communication and how to argue. Because it's not as if we stopped arguing and bickering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bickered yesterday. If people are like, oh, well, they've worked it all out now.
And everything's fine.
And everything is
Yeah.
fine. Okay, then that's
You're
not
still
how marriage
living with
works.
a boy. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
still living with a boy.
That's
Um,
that's a,
you
if
know-
you think you're gonna get married and never have an argument
No.
with your husband, you are
Yeah,
silly.
but
Right.
I mean, it's like, okay, well, we finally have at least laid the relationship to rest,
Yeah.
and now we have to figure out how to forgive.
Yeah.
I don't think we really knew how to forgive one another. I don't.
Was that
We've
your
been
first
married-
step to healing, forgiving?
I think so.
I think
yes.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, because I'm somebody that likes to drag stuff out
Yeah.
and on,
Yeah.
that was hard.
not-
It was hard for me, especially. And I'd like to backtrack. We still had to raise a son.
Yeah.
We still had a
Yeah.
son involved in things, and we still had to go out in public where all these people, you're going, I wonder if they know, I wonder if they know. And so you can't worry about that because,
Yeah.
yes, they do know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And they
Yeah.
know their version of what happened. They don't know your version.
That's
and
right.
so they're going to think whatever they want to think.
Mhm.
And that's what I told her. I said, you know what? We just have to live our life. Let people think what they want to think. And, you know, as we have gone through this, we found out that a lot more people knew exactly, well, not exactly, but knew what had happened. And so, you know, you can't worry about that either because you'll just be consumed by, well, I can't go anywhere
Yeah.
because everybody's going to judge
Worrying
me.
about
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
who cares a lot about what people think,
Yeah.
I have really learned to get over a lot of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I cared a lot about what other people
Mhm.
thought of me, and I have learned to let a lot of that go.
Yeah.
And that's hard. And it's hard to let that go. And I remember our counselor being like, it doesn't matter what other people think. What matters is what God thinks and what Scott thinks. And if
Yeah.
they've forgiven you, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares what anybody else thinks?
I love, you guys have mentioned multiple times the community you had around you, just multiple people that you could go to. But also, I'm sure your circle shrunk during that time too.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
And so,
We're a tribe of few.
yes.
we
Yeah.
are.
Which,
Yeah.
Which is probably a good
healthy.
thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
It
can be
is.
healthy. Yeah.
And,
Mhm.
you know, Bethel, we're big about community and you can be a part of a healthy and vibrant community without being best friends with everybody in that
Mhm.
community.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so we are pretty careful with who we spend our time with now. And we're okay with just spending our time with each other and not with,
Mm.
with groups of people. Of course, I think that comes with age as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, back to our son, it was important for us to not only insulate him, but to see that we're still we're still his mom and dad, and we're still together, and we're still fighting for you, and we're fighting for each other. And so
he knew something.
we
was
don't know that he
going
ever
on,
knew
that he ever
anything
knew
then.
anything.
I did have one
So.
conversation with him at one point, and he probably won't even remember this. I think 16-year-old boys have a very small circle, and they only care about what's happening in their immediate circle.
Yeah.
But I remember telling him, I said, listen, if you hear anything, like there's a lot of stuff happening right now, and if you hear something, all you need to know is that your mom and dad are fine. That's all you need to know if you hear anything. And he looked at me like I had two heads. I don't think he just wasn't worried.
Yeah.
As far as he knew, he came home every night. We were there.
Yeah.
Unless Scott was at the fire station, and supper was ready when he got off from practice, and that's all that mattered. And we went to all his stuff, and everything was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a support system. He had a great
But then
support
he
system.
got to see, did he get to see like the transition of like y'all's marriage pre-surrendering it to the Lord versus your marriage?
Do you think he noticed?
Do you
the
think he
healthiness
noticed
He
in
the
it?
knew that we were
shift?
going to counseling.
Yeah.
He knew that we were involved in reengage. He knew that we were given testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
I'm
think he
sure-
always just thought,
I bet he did.
they're my parents and
Yeah.
they're always here and they go to all my stuff
Yeah.
and I have a safe and happy home.
Which is
I hope
such a
that's what he-
testimony in itself, like for him to just know, and for y'all not to, I don't know, it can be done wrong.
It can be done
It can
wrong.
be, you can get them right up in the middle of it, and it can cause a lot.
Well,
of,
And
if
we
anybody
tried-
was going to screw up and do it, it would be me. And somehow it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So-
We
The
tried
Lord, the
very
protection.
hard to keep
Yeah.
our issues
yeah,
away, not where he was, like we weren't fighting in front of him.
Yeah.
We were keeping that very much.
But we never
tried
really
to-
had done that.
We'd
anyway.
never really done
Yeah.
that. Like we worked very hard. I mean, I saw my parents go through kind of an ugly divorce, and I was not going to do that
Yeah.
to my child.
yeah,
I want to go
So-
back to this real quick. Y'all were talking about how Reengage taught you to argue.
Mhm.
That is also something that Reengage
Mhm.
taught me and my husband that has been life changing.
Mhm.
What would you tell our listeners is a good tip for learning how to argue with your spouse?
I'll let you address this.
So, well, of course, re-engage kind of tells you to stay in your circle.
Yeah.
And, by nature, I'm a fixer. And so I like to, if we argue now, I like to have solutions, but she has a stake in this argument as well.
Yeah.
And so I need to, realize that my solutions are not necessarily her solutions. But she's also not my enemy. We've learned that through
Yes,
Reengage as well.
yes.
And so I'm not her enemy. She's not my enemy. And so when you enter into that little arena, it changes the way you fight and,
Yeah.
and your tactics. When you realize that, she's not my enemy. I don't have to win here.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
okay.
that's good.
It's
Yeah.
okay just to let her vent, because oftentimes that's what we just need to do, is just be heard.
Yeah.
That's it. And so I would think that everybody needs to realize that your spouse is not your enemy.
He says that to me. Literally will say, if we're in the midst of something, he will say, I'm not your enemy.
Mm.
And I mean, we never would have done that in the past. He was going to fight to win no matter what.
Yeah.
And he's like super competitive. He is going to fight to win. He's going to use whatever words be needed. And then I would just shut down. I'm done.
Yep.
That's it.
So, yeah.
That's how everything was
Yeah.
going to end in our house. And it's not that way anymore.
So communication
Communication.
and knowing that
Yes.
your spouse is not your enemy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Communication. But you know what? You also have to be humble.
Oh,
You've
that's
got
good.
to humble yourself to figure out that you do not have to win everything,
Yeah.
and that you might have to seek out help from somebody that knows more than you do, or can at least intercede better than you can. And find those prayer warriors. That's the big
Mhm.
thing, is
Yeah.
finding
Mhm.
people that will drop what they're doing and carry your casket,
Yeah. That's
carry your
good.
cross. And we had all of those. We had all those mechanisms in place, and we didn't even realize it. And so,
I mean, early on when he was talking about our problems early in our marriage that happened, we didn't reach out to anybody to pray for us early on. Before this podcast, I have 2 totally different groups they're small groups, but groups of ladies that like are praying for this morning.
Yeah.
Now.
boy, did I give them fits at church yesterday. Too.
That's just one of the groups. Yes.
Yeah.
And so those things are important.
Yeah.
That you're willing to be like, this is happening in my life. I need you to be praying over it.
Yeah.
That you're willing to reach out and ask for that, because prayer matters. Prayer works.
That was the first thing I noticed that you guys said today was just that you asked for help. Like immediately. There was a moment where you went and asked for help, and that took a lot of humility. And I think that goes back to like your heart change. And I was just even thinking like the gospel and how important it is for us to be sharing right now, especially in just the things of the world. But you can't hear the gospel. Well, you can, but when you hear the gospel and you recognize who you are, it changes everything. And it's this humility of like, I am such a sinner, and that helps you approach your spouse in a different way because they are too, and if you, I don't know, the gospel changes everything.
Well, we are blessed with some friends that are older than us, who've been through a lot of stuff with their own children and just through their marriages. And we know so many people superficially. We know, what they like to eat and where they like to go eat and, what their kids are involved in, but we don't know what has happened to them personally. And so when things like this happen and you reach out to them, then you start truly learning the reason they're prayer warriors is because they've been in that fight as well. And they've been in that fight with their kids. And so I think it's important that you don't hold that stuff in, because there's a lot of wisdom in your people surrounding you. And it's important to reach out to those people.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
So what kept you going when you wanted to quit?
We didn't want to be quitters.
Yeah, I like that.
His competitiveness.
No, that's not it. I mean, this is who I fell in love with back in a long time ago.
At that grocery store.
30 something years ago. I remember her birthday. Anyway. And so there's not a lot of, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that if I were to end up divorced at that age, it was 40, 50 something, my options are not great. Now, that's not the reason I stayed in it, but this is who I fell in love with. This is who we had a child with. This is who has seen the death of my dad and the death of a brother. And so this is who I've lived my life with.
Yeah.
I mean, so even though I was a jerk, it was not, the outcome was not what would have been best for us and for our son. And so, now after we would have gone through everything and it would have ended up in divorce, then, we could say we tried, but there would always be that, did we try hard enough?
Yeah.
And by golly, I think we put up a fight. And, I still have a lot of my bad habits that I've always had, but, we love differently, we fight differently. So
I think marriage is a covenant. You made those vows. You get up every morning and you make a choice to love that day. You do.
How do you serve one another these days to keep a healthy marriage?
He's so much better at that than me. I'm not going to lie. He's the better spouse. It really is. I'm selfish.
Making up for lost time.
Because the Lord came in and wrecked his heart.
He's the better spouse. Like, he serves me so well. I mean, I'm kind of a spoiled brat in the marriage.
Yeah.
I love that.
I am. And I always tell him, like, you've created this monster now.
He got real quiet.
But it's sweet to
true.
be kept by your husband.
I
like,
mean,
you know,
it
I mean,
is.
and the Lord first, but then
Yeah.
obviously your husband too. Yeah.
That's
I'm
awesome.
not- How do I serve? I don't know. I can't even think of a way.
She's there for me.
That's
So,
I am a good. I do support him in all the things that he does. Like if he walks in, he's like, "I've decided I'm going to retire next month." Okay,
okay.
let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So you trust him. Was that always
Oh, if
to
he's
be
like,
your
here's
leader? Was
yeah,
that always the
absolute-
case?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do. He's a good provider.
Yeah.
Like if he says we're going to do it, I don't worry about things
Mm.
as much. If Scott is a good leader, he's a good provider. I just trust him.
Yeah.
I do.
That's awesome.
Cool.
it's a lot of pressure.
Sorry. I do have some random
That's a
questions.
lot of
I,
pressure.
I do.
Yeah.
I trust him completely.
I just
Which
seen
is
it.
a
I
miracle.
seen it in
That
her,
is a
so I wanted to
miracle
call
that
it.
you
I
do,
wanted to
you know?
call it
Like-
up
Yeah.
that she
I
did.
trust
Yeah.
him.
That's
Mhm.
so cool.
Yeah.
Because
Well, and I'll say I wasn't always trustworthy.
yeah.
And so for her to say that here 35
Almost 35.
years later,
Yeah.
then that's good. But I was
Yeah.
not always trustworthy. And so that has helped tremendously I mean, when you're going through trauma and you say you're in a car wreck and you go to the hospital, they don't just fix what they immediately see. They fix the underlying issues sometimes, and they fix what they cannot see. And so, we went through trauma, and you have to treat all of it. If you're using ugly words, you need to change your words. If you're doing ugly actions, you need to change your actions. It's not just, if your heart is hard, you've got to soften your heart. And so, it's been good for us. I wouldn't recommend anybody to go through what we went through.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you are going through that, then try to make a wholesale change with everything.
good.
Seek out those that can help you change.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Okay. What advice would you give a struggling couple?
Turn to God. You got to, hopefully they have a firm foundation, because if we both had that foundation, so we knew what we needed to do. And reach out for help.
reach out for help.
Reach out for help. Scott said earlier, you've got to be willing to humble yourself. Pride just didn't have room in the equation for us.
Yeah.
It didn't.
good.
And that's hard too.
That is hard.
And you have to be willing to forgive.
Mhm.
We learned a lot about grace and forgiveness. And forgiveness, as we have found out, is not about the other person. It's about you. It's not for that other person. It's
Yeah.
for you. And once you have told someone that you forgive them and it means nothing to them, then it's no longer about them. It's about you. And so it's easier to say, you know what? You may not accept my forgiveness. You may not care that I've forgiven you. It's for me. It makes me feel better. And so
Just letting it
it's a
go.
whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we live in a generation of young people who don't maybe know the importance of commitment. So speak to us about commitment.
I agree with that. I think that young people are inundated with these visions on social media and television and movies of what marriage and romance are, and it's completely unrealistic. And it's the little daily things in life that aren't pretty, that are hard. And it's just every day it's taking care of one another when things are hard. We were actually just talking to someone the other day about the weddings when you get married, and it's just this huge, now it is, a very expensive, beautiful, but what a production it is.
Yeah.
But then you get into the daily grind of married life, and that's hard.
It's not beautiful.
That's part of my testimony. Mine and Luke's is
Mhm.
nobody told me how
No.
hard it was going to be.
No.
And so we get married and you just thought I don't know.
That you would just ease into the
It would
beauty
just
of the
be
day.
awesome.
It
Yes.
would just continue.
And it wasn't.
No, I was thinking the other day actually about us. Scott had a brother. He grew up with a brother who was also very rough and tumble boy like Scott.
Yeah.
And then he married me, who was the baby, who liked things a certain way, who's all girl and likes all the things.
Yeah.
And I think I moved in after we got married and he was like, what is all this about?
Yeah.
And she likes all these things and wants things a certain way. And there's all this stuff. And goodness gracious, what have I done? And he had lived with his family and then he lived on his own by himself. And everything was just perfection all the time. And then like this whirlwind moved in. And
Tornado.
a tornado.
Another whirlwind.
Little more.
And yeah, this tornado moved in, and it just really first couple of years was pretty rough.
Yeah.
And I think this is very unexpected to people, and then you have to completely alter your expectation because what we see on the surface now with social media and everything, just everybody only shows the best side all the time.
Yep.
And that's so unrealistic.
For real.
And so you have to get up every day and just choose whatever's coming our way this day. We're going to work it out. We're going to push through. And that's not always easy.
I love this.
Me too. I was sitting here thinking, I want my kids to listen to this. One's at ACU. She's the ACU girl. And then the other one's 19. And the one that's at ACU, she has a guy that's pursuing her right now. But it's long distance now because he graduated and he had moved back home looking for a job. And it's all over like text message. And I'm like, hey, y'all have got to have conversation.
Dude.
Like you've got to be talking on the phone, FaceTime one another. Like you have that luxury these days, FaceTime one another. And she's like, I know. I'm like, that's a relationship. Texting, being like Snapchat, whatever that is, that's not a relationship. And I think this upcoming generation is almost, they don't see it. They don't see it yet, that it's a relationship over the phone and a relationship in person are going to be two different things.
Oh, yeah.
And gosh, I think the world needs to hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well-
not to go off on a tangent, but
No,
You
please
know,
do.
everything is so perfect. You know, you got your Pinterest weddings and nobody gets married in a church anymore.
Yeah.
So that
There's
covenant that typically was built in a church is now it's a perfect wedding. I mean, all the girls are so perfect and all the guys are so perfect. They're part of the party and all the weddings are just so perfect. And it's like you're starting out in this world where everything looks perfect. And then when you have the first battle, you don't know how to
handle
you don't know how to handle it. And so I think it even starts, back to, I wish we'd start getting invitations for weddings in churches again.
churches.
Because I think
I've
there's
never
a
thought about
correlation
that,
there
but
somewhere.
Yeah.
One of my
So-
favorite things that Luke does is wedding ceremonies. And he did one this past weekend. And I stole his notes this morning because I wanted to read some of the scripture he read, just thinking about our conversation and just thinking about even when he stands up there and performs the wedding, I'm just like, wow, that is weighty. It's weighty. And when you're young and you get married, like, I don't remember the words. Cody Cochran married us. And I'm not sure I remember. I know we took communion. I don't know that we really knew the weight of that either,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now if we were to do it again, I think I would say something different and I would take that communion a little more seriously,
Yeah.
And we've walked through things that have shown us our need for the Lord and our need for commitment. And so anyways, this is what part of his ceremony said. It says, he reads about God desiring us not to be alone. And he gave Adam this companion. And then he said, this all sounds good, but relationship takes work and effort. And Colossians 3:12-14 says, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. it all goes on to say, forgive as the Lord has forgiven you. But verse 14 ties it all together when it says, over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. And 1 Peter 4:8 says, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. And even just reading back through those vows, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, do you vow to honor and serve, to love unconditionally as Christ loves us, until death do you part. And that, I don't know, it's just a good reminder.
That's
what we
that.
entered into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That love unconditionally like Christ loves us sounds so pretty, but it is not the easiest
No.
thing.
No.
Yeah.
And
If I look back at 22, I had just turned 22 when we got married. And if someone had said, by the way, y'all are going to go through this, this, and this, and it's going to get rough, and you're actually going to have a relationship with someone else, I would have been like, that will never happen.
Yep.
I mean, I would be
Yeah.
so, oh no, we will never do that in our marriage. Like, no one thinks that going in. You just think it's all going to be roses.
Yep.
And, looking back now, I'm still like, did all that happen? I mean, really.
I tell
It's
you
like-
what, that the Lord's really been working on me in is just the amount of work that we're capable of. And y'all are proof of that, because the easy thing would have been to quit.
Oh, it would have.
And I'm telling you, my little grandma passed away not long ago. And I just think of that generation of people, and I just think they knew how to work.
Yeah.
They knew how to work when it got hard. And that it's just spurring me on. It's making me want to just preach that from the mountaintops, that the Lord does require work of us, like
Mm-hmm.
he's so kind and loving and takes care of all the things, but we've got to do the work too.
What we were not prepared for is to acknowledge the amount of work that other people were putting in their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think we were not prepared for.
Yeah.
And so, I'll forever be indebted and grateful to a couple of those guys that, they stopped what they were doing and met us and prayed over us and anointed our head with oil. And, that's work. That's commitment.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
more than once, if we ask for help, they're like, what can we do?
Yeah.
Do you need us?
So good.
And I think it's also important that people know that we still have our struggles. I still struggle with guy issues, and I still struggle with anger, and those struggles are there. But I've just learned I've learned who to turn those issues over to,
that's good.
and who not to turn those issues over to, and then how to fight differently. And so, if there's a takeaway,
I love that.
That's good.
Glad you said that.
Okay. To close us out, what is your favorite thing about your spouse?
You want me to go first?
sure.
Actually, I have two things.
You had to write them down.
I just want to make sure.
She didn't want to,
Okay. I have everything written
Miss an
down because
opportunity.
that is how I
I was
roll.
going to say, she's a planner.
I do. He knew that. He saw me last night, just like writing everything down. So he really is the calm to my storm. Like, he keeps me grounded. When I get wound up, he can just make it all okay.
Mhm.
I mean, he really keeps me grounded. No matter what, Scott brings the laughter. And y'all, laughter can make everything okay. I don't care what the situation is.
So good.
Anybody who's single out there, you need to find someone who can make you laugh, because that is always going to make everything okay
A good
in
salary,
any
though, helps.
situation.
Yeah. It
A
does.
good salary helps.
That's not the most important thing. That's always good, but
It's a bonus.
yeah, I would say those are
That's good. Now, Scott, off the cuff, what?
off the cuff.
Dina she's optimistic.
Mm.
Positive Dina is what everybody calls her at work, and she's just always positive about stuff, and so
That makes everything better too. Like that is a
Laughter and positivity.
Yeah.
That's
well,
a good
you
combo.
can't have two old grumpies all the time. No, that does not work.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
She's a little Pollyanna-ish at times, but that's
I
okay
am.
as well.
I am.
Yeah.
Being a fireman for so many years, I just think everything's going to kill you and everything's going to be
He
ugly.
does.
I mean, because a lot of stuff will,
Yeah.
but you know,
But then you have me to counteract that.
Yeah, that's good. There's
You know,
balance.
like-
Yes.
worst case scenario guy, and she's like,
That's just the truth. I'm
But
like,
I
no.
also think that's why the Lord, like, you know, you usually marry your opposite, and there's
Yeah.
balance in it
This
when
is
it's
that.
healthy.
Yes.
You know,
Uh-huh.
and I think that's that sanctifying thing too. Like your oppositeness could either make you or break you. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and when you allow the Lord to sanctify those things in
Yes.
you, and like for you to grow, and it's cool to see how the Lord brings such health in a relationship, even when you're opposite.
I've told him before, this would not be fun if you had married you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
You would never
Yeah.
win. You know.
I never won anyway. So in the end,
Well, we're going to close out today and just send you guys off with some encouragement. So we always say eyes up, mind steady, spirit stirring. And it's a little cliche thing and we laugh about it sometimes, but really we mean it. And we pray that over you guys and your marriage. So eyes up on the Lord and the next 34 years for your marriage. Mind steady on the truth of the word of God and how he reminds us to clothe ourselves with compassion and humility and kindness and mostly love, right? And then it's spirit stirring for the things he has for you guys as you share your testimony and use your life for the glory of the Lord.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Christina will close us out in prayer and we'll wrap this up.
All right. Thank you, Lord, for this conversation, for this wisdom, for resurrecting this marriage and Scott and Dina within each other and one-on-one with you, God. God, we thank you that their marriage is a lot for your kingdom. We thank you for the marriages it has already reached and helped restored, and we thank you for the ones that it's going to. God, we invite you into this thing called life that we do, and we just ask that you continue to lead us and guide us. God, that you would deliver us from the enemy, that we would have discernment in his attacks against the family, God, and God, that you would just equip us to keep on keeping on and to see the goodness of what you have for us. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thanks for the prayer.
Thank you guys for being here.
Sure.